What's up, people? It's Capra Web. We're going to show you Wednesday, October 6th, the S&P 500. This is looking like a pretty crazy day, my gosh. It's a big move to the upside, but it's also marks a big trade opportunity here. When I look at the the overview for the month, it looks to me like we have there's a range that we hit the upper end of a range on Tuesday or yesterday. At this point, when you're watching the video in the present, we'll be talking about yesterday, which was Tuesday the 5th. I know it can be a little tricky, but in any case, we're talking about the 6th. There was a high the prior day, upper end of a range. Looks to me like we reached that upper end of the range again, most likely. And that's kind of like, oops. And that's a trade opportunity at the upper end of the range. Might even be a little bit of a breakout there. Yeah, it looks to me like we probably have, like this is the high for the week, or the first high for the week. We have a trade opportunity to cash in, possibly roll some options positions right at the open. In the pre-market, there's a kind of like a U-shaped dip, maybe something that was previously hidden comes to be knowledge. And there's dip from the pre-market right at the, especially right around the open, there's a sharp dip. But that's like a counterbalance. So there's a sharp dip in the right at the open, but then we return back to where we fell from, roughly around like, let's say 9:45, 9:50 a.m. And then we move even higher and reach a high at roughly, it may even be, actually, it's going to be a new high at least a new local high, but a new high, probably breaking that range between, there'll be a high at 11 and then probably breaking that range after a bit of a dip sorry, there'll be a high at 10, just after 10, and then there'll be a little bit of a dip, but then a higher high, which is probably like the new high or local high, will be around 11 o'clock. There'll be some sort of economic data that comes out, causes a decline between 11 and 12 o'clock roughly, and then we have a lot of volatility midday between 12ish and 1 o'clock. Then there's a rally, kind of volume kicks in around 1 o'clock, and we bounce along a resistance level. We may possibly break through that resistance level, but more likely is that that higher high, we break down through the range that we had broke out to reach the higher high earlier in the day, and now we bounce up against that resistance that we had broken out before and then fallen back through. So like at this point, we're at like roughly 1 to 2 o'clock, and we're bouncing up against that range that we broke out briefly through earlier in the day. There's a sharp decline, a sharp decline. There's a sharp decline between roughly 2 and 3 o'clock. And then there's a big move. There's a big move higher in the last hour, somewhere in the last hour, maybe closer to the close, but that right at the close, there's a sharp drop through a notable price level. And then in the pre-market, there's like a crisscross between crisscross 3 times over the same price level. It'll be a notable support resistance level, and we'll cross over it 3 times in the post-market. The preview card for the following day is a trade opportunity as well. So I'm gonna. It looks to me like I have a trade opportunity here at roughly around um, 11 o'clock to 11:10, roughly, and that's at the high. And then the sneak preview for tomorrow is a flight to safety and flight into conservative investments, that sort of stuff. It's a negative card. And it's also marked as a trade opportunity with reverse clairvoyant impressions. All right, guys, that's Wednesday the 6th. Enjoy.